I'm here with Apple, whose major purpose, of course, is to look cute for the camera, to talk about spaying and neutering. Spaying, of course, is for female dogs where the uterus and ovaries are removed, and neutering is what we refer to when we remove the testicles of a male dog. In both cases, it prevents them from reproducing, so we don't have any unwanted pregnancies, we don't have any unwanted dogs who don't have a home and would have to go to a shelter. There are other advantages to spaying and neutering. In female dogs, spaying reduces the risk of breast cancer, and it also eliminates a very serious problem called pyometra, which is an infection in the uterus, and it can easily be fatal, especially if you're not accustomed to dealing with it and don't recognize the symptoms. And in male dogs, neutering, of course, absolutely eliminates the possibility of testicular cancer, and it reduces the risk of prostate cancer as well. When you do decide to spay or neuter your dog, you should definitely consult with your vet. I am not a veterinarian, so I would encourage you to talk to your vet before you make any decisions. However, I would ask you to consider not doing it too early. Many vets will recommend that it be done when the dog is very young. And there's a good reason not to spay or neuter when they're young. When that procedure is done, the organs that are removed produce hormones. Those hormones are not just sex hormones, they're also growth hormones. I'm going to show you right here a picture of an x-ray of a young puppy. And one of the things that should strike you right away is that the bones in the legs, these are the rear legs that you're looking at, extending down from the hips, the bones in the legs are not joined together. There's quite a distance between them. That's because the tips of the bones, called the growth plates, have not finished closing that gap. In most dogs, the growth plates, and especially in Cavaliers, the growth plates will close at about 9 to 14 months of age. So if you spay a girl before her first heat cycle, which usually occurs at about 6 to 8 months of age, then you're going to be eliminating those growth hormones before the growth plates have closed. And there are studies that show that dogs that are spayed or neutered too early do have an increased incidence of joint problems, which can include ligament tears, and it could also include certain types of cancers. So I think a balance is a very good thing to look at. I think you have to balance the risks of breast cancer, prostate cancer, testicular cancer against the risk of those joint problems that can develop if it's done too early. What I always keep in mind, and I recommend to people, is that they consider in the girls allowing them to go through that first heat cycle, which should occur at about 6 to 8 months of age, waiting about 2 months minimum so that the swelling in the uterus, oh, thank you for shaking hands, girl, so that the swelling in the uterus has had a chance to decrease, and then have that procedure done. In the boys, it's not quite so clear-cut because they don't go through seasons, but I still recommend waiting until that age of 9 to 14 months. So when you get a puppy, please talk to your veterinarian, discuss with him or her the pros and cons of doing the procedure earlier as opposed to later, and consider, please, allowing those growth hormones to control the closing of the growth plates and allow the dog to have good solid joints that are going to be free from problems. So, Apple, you have anything to add? I don't think she does. Apple, by the way, is 2 years old. She has not been spayed because we are going to be breeding her, and she's a perfectly fine, healthy girl. Say goodbye, Apple.
Bye-bye.